we all know that the defense, cooperation between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan has a long history. It is not the first time that the two countries have entered in some kind of agreement on defense cooperation. Going back to 1960s, we have actually this kind of understanding, and in 1980s, since 1980s, Pakistan has quite a strong contingent of soldier or army soldiers based in Saudi Arabia on security duties. The Saudi military officers have also been getting training in Pakistan. So this is the background of the whole defense cooperation between the two countries. But what happened, this new agreement, it is certainly more significant for two things. Number one, actually, it for the first time a kind of formal agreement has been reached between the two countries, and also it has a clause which is the most important one, is that any attack on any country will be considered attack on both, and that is basically is the same thing as the NATO countries have this kind of an agreement, and which basically any NATO country is being attacked is seen as an attack on the entire community. So this is certainly a new development. Why it all happened, why there is a need for a new pact. One has to understand changing geopolitical dynamics in this region, in Middle East particularly. For the last 2 years, Israel has shown its aggressive designs in the region. Not only that, 2 years have passed since its attack on Gaza, which is ongoing, and this is, even the United Nations says it is a genocidal war, and more than 65,000 people have been killed there. But not only that, Israel is waging war on Gaza, but also it has expanded its aggressive design and completely almost destroying Lebanon. It has also actually expanded its occupied territory inside Syria. It has repeatedly attacked Yemen and Iran. And the worst was actually a few months back when Iran's nuclear installations were attacked. But it is not Israel alone in this whole thing. Israel's aggression has also been patronized and been supported militarily by the US, and which is very obvious. But I think the most serious thing happened when Qatar was attacked by Israeli Air Force fighters, and it was, we all know it, Qatar has been completely neutral in this conflict, and it has also been the center for all the kind of mediation in various conflicts. And for last 2 years, it has been hosting delegates from Hamas as well as from Israel who were engaged in negotiations. In fact, actually, Hamas leaders who were targeted, although the strike missed them, they were there because to consider a latest peace proposal by the Trump administration. In fact, actually, they have reached some kind of agreement on that, but before it was announced, Israel struck. And it is very clear that Israel never wanted any peace deal and a peace agreement. That has alerted the Middle Eastern countries, because Qatar is the house of largest American military base in the region. United States has several military bases all through the Gulf area and some other countries too. But Qatar has the largest base, and 10,000 American troops are stationed there. And not only that, but entire air defense system is being operated by America. So it is quite strange, and I think that that Americans, despite the fact that they knew about the strike, the prior knowledge of the strike, they did not inform Qatar. And I think probably this is one of the reasons why there has been a growing concern among the Middle Eastern countries who had completely dependent on America for their security. So that has actually, the recent attack, Israeli attack, has shown that these countries cannot rely completely on the security guarantee given by the United States. And that is probably one of the reasons why we have seen this new pact being signed between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. I'm not saying that it has happened just because attack on Qatar, but this has been under the consideration for quite some time. It doesn't happen overnight. Actually, this kind of agreement does not. They must have taken some time actually to frame agreement and the different provision of that. And I think probably the reason is very clear, that the Israel's growing aggression in the Middle East, and also the Israeli plan for a greater Israel, which is basically, we have seen that right-wing government in Israel has been mentioning it quite frequently now. So these are the concerns which led to this signing of this new pact. Well, I think probably, yes, there has been a long history of conflict between Saudi Arabia and Iran in the region. But last 2 or 3 years, I think the tension has eased after an agreement was moderated by China came into being. And I think probably that after that, actually, the tension has subsided. In fact, actually, we don't see the same kind of hostility between Iran and Saudi Arabia anymore. So I don't think this agreement is going to have any reaction from Iran. I don't think so, that Iran understands very well that it is not against them. The second thing is that as far as what will be the Indian reaction, there has not been any official reaction so far on the agreement, but certainly there is a lot of concern in India about this agreement. But I don't think one should see this agreement from the prism of Pakistan-India relationship. I think it's much more to do with whatever is happening in Middle East. Well, actually, Indians may not be happy with this agreement, and particularly the clause in this that any attack on one of the country will be considered an attack on both. I think that is basically a kind of serious concern for India. But I think probably it will be short-sighted if the whole thing is seen from India-Pakistan relation. This has been not the motivating force, or not. This is going to affect much actually as far as India's relations with Arab countries are concerned. This is not a zero-sum game. It is, as I said earlier, that this agreement is largely to do with the Middle East situation and Israel's growing expansionism and Israel's aggression and hostility. As far as India and Saudi Arabia, or the India and Gulf states relations are concerned, they have their own actually dynamic. They have developed over the years on the basis of that cooperation has always been a kind of economic field. Saudi Arabia has a huge investment in India. And so there has been a long history of economic cooperation between them, and it's not going to go away. I don't think so it's going to be affected. And as far as Pakistan is concerned, this is nothing new, this military cooperation with Saudi Arabia. Yes, actually there has been a huge reaction in India and very deep concern, but I doubt it very much that is going to change much in this region. India has been isolated diplomatically over the last few months, because it has completely, was looking towards America. It has actually clearly, aligned itself with the Western world and America. So Trump's policy and his imposition of 50% tariff on Indian goods has damaged those strategic relationships. So despite this strategic relationship, the relation between America and India has suffered, and in fact it has received a huge setback. And that's one of the reasons why we have seen in the recent months that India is trying to make up with China But I don't think that is going to be so easy. China would like to have actually a normal relation with India as far as the trade concern. And despite the growing tension between China and India, the trade between the two countries had grown over the years. But there are some, outstanding issues between the two countries, which is not going to be resolved so easy, because over the years, India has presented itself to the West as a counterweight to China. And the China is still actually looking very towards India with suspicion. So it's going to be, yes, it has changed the whole regional dynamics, geopolitical dynamics, and I think probably what we are going to see are the new alignment taking place. But in fact, actually, India over the, as I said, actually completely relying or basically one-sided alliance with the Western countries is going to cost it hugely, because there's no doubt about that. It has good relations with Russia, but mending fences with China will not be easy. The other thing that India, yes, although it's part of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is basically represent the global South and also other territories. This is another pact, actually, BRICS. And so basically this has made India's position quite, but India, because of the American pressure in the past, and not to annoy Washington, it has actually not fully participated in BRICS that way. So I think probably now what we are witnessing is that it's trying to get to become much more active, and not only Shanghai Cooperation Organization, but also more actively or trying to be part of the BRICS. Let's see actually what happens next, because in December there is going to be a summit meeting of Quad. India is still, and don't forget about it, India is still a member of Quad. This is an alliance of 4 countries, Indo-Pacific countries and America. In fact, actually, it's seen as a kind of anti-China alliance. India, despite all those differences, emerging differences with America, it is still actually member of Quad. And a summit conference of Quad is going to be held in New Delhi sometime in December, and it's still not clear whether Trump will participate in that too. The other thing that actually one cannot see that it is a complete breakup with United States, because Trump's policy is very unpredictable. And that what we have been seeing throughout this year is his policy with Russia. It's basically his policy of using pressure tactics or tariff to get a better deal has also has backlash against America, in fact, actually. And it has not succeeded everywhere. It has succeeded to some extent in bringing pressure on countries like we have seen European Union and Britain, but China, because China has much greater leverage on America because of its American, cannot actually completely, can afford to completely break relations with China. So that's the negotiations are still going on. But one cannot be sure actually what happened next with as far as Washington and New Delhi relations are concerned. It can change by the next month or 2 months, because the trade negotiation resumed with India in Washington. And I think probably there are some news are coming that there may be some breakthrough. So one cannot see that it is a complete breakup in relations with India's relations with the United States. So this is a kind of situation where things are changing very rapidly, and this is a multipolar world now. So the countries are making alliances on the basis of their own interests. So that we will see happening. But Pakistan is in a better position, no doubt about that, because Pakistan has a good relation now with the United States. I don't know how long it will continue like this, but certainly it has a strategic relation. It's a strategic relationship with China has strengthened, and so this new development in Middle East, where Pakistan is seen as the partner in the security, there is also is very helpful for Pakistan's foreign policy, and actually also its strategic relationship with Saudi Arabia. I don't think that's going to have any implication. Because it's a fact that Pakistan is a nuclear weapon country. It's not new. It is, and in a way, actually, Pakistan has been, if not formally, but informally, has been recognized as a nuclear weapon state. I think probably it's unnecessary alarm, because there is no mention in this pact with Saudi Arabia that Pakistan would provide a nuclear umbrella to Saudi Arabia. There's no mention. But there has always been a tacit understanding, and everybody knows about it, that in the case of a situation where Saudi Arabia's existence or its security is threatened, obviously Pakistan's support will be there. So I think probably this is I don't know where has it come, that pact has never has any mention of Pakistan providing nuclear umbrella to the Saudi Arabia. In fact, Saudi Arabia over the years has been seeking a nuclear umbrella from the United States, and that was the time when that tension between Saudi Arabia and Iran were at the height. But I don't think that is going to be a cause of any concern, this the so-called nuclear factor in there.